Hi, it's Thursday. Welcome to Tammy's Take. I wanted to share my take on scholarship folders. And one of the things was inspired for even to do Tammy's Take was people ask me different questions, with raising 5 kids, 5 children, how do you do certain things? Maybe how did you handle a situation with something going on between the siblings, or maybe a spiritual lesson I shared, or maybe information I've learned. So Tammy's Take, one of the things I do want to share is what I've done with my kids in the past. And I think it's a very timely topic right now is scholarship folders and applying for scholarships. Hi, Erica. So this is a good thing because Erica has helped a child apply. Hi, Sharon. So when you are getting together a scholarship folder, why do I think I have information to share? Well, I have now helped a 3rd child put a scholarship folder together. So I wanted to help you see what we have in the scholarship folder, what it looks like, kind of go through it really quick, and then give you some of my tips. And so, we've been through this process, and it can be daunting to think about if you haven't done it before, but really it's not hard. It's just when you haven't done something about, with it, you think, where do I start? So that's funny, Erica. So, excuse me. So first of all, when you're applying for scholarships, unfortunately, what we don't have in place right now is because of the school funding, we don't have in place somebody in the career resource room, or that's a person who's there to help you with that. So typically in the past, students would bring their scholarship folder into the school, and it's there available for those who wanted to, organizations who maybe say you don't have to fill out an application, we'll come into your school and we'll look through the books. So they'd had that in the past, but they don't have that capability right now at West. But having a scholarship folder in hand is really important, and to have some copies of it so that you can mail it out. Your counselor should be able to give you definitely a list of what scholarships are available, not only in your community, but for your state and maybe nationally as well. But when you have this on hand, it makes it so much easier to be able to send this out and to make copies of this. Hey, Kara! Okay, so this is I'll show you a couple of them. So here is what my son's what his looked like. And it's just, you're looking at a 3-ring binder that you want. His is obviously 2 inches deep, but they don't have to be like that. I mean, I remember thinking that was a little big. So, excuse me, Lauren's is 1.5 inches wide, like the binder. And you want one that, they can slide in. I think it looks really nice if you can slide in their picture. So obviously on the outside, you're going to have it looks really nice. So use their full name, use a senior picture, what high school they are currently at, and the year they're graduating. And then when you open it up, there's going to be, I like to use for the kids. And the kids, I have helped my kids do this because I think it's really good to have parental guidance on this. If it's already something that we as parents to think about might be confusing. Think about for a student and they're trying to do all this stuff with school and whatnot. So if you are in a position where you can help guide your child through this, then do it, because it just helps them, helps build more confidence for them. So I use, the plastic sheet protectors, and then you have a variety of some that have where you can put the tabs in them, and then you have other ones that don't have them, because if you have more in that category, then obviously you're not going to have a label for each. So, okay. So first and foremost, excuse me, these are your categories, okay? So there's going to be student info is your first one. Student info, college essay, academic information, activities and awards, recommendations, your financial info, school acceptances if they've had those, and then an appreciation statement. I think that's a really good way to finish up the scholarship folder. If someone's looking through it, then they can see a thank you from the student. and what their hopes are. So on the student information sheet, and a lot of times there are the counseling offices at your school may have PDFs that are templates where you can fill them in. But the student information sheet basically will have their name, their email, their mailing address, their contact info, social security number, excuse me, is on some of those. Maybe years they've attended the school in Alaska, in Anchorage. Sometimes that's pertinent with local, of course I'm talking about Alaska, but let's say you're in Tennessee, right? So how many years they've attended school in Tennessee or in the town that you live in. Has the names of your parents, the occupation of the mom and dad, and the other thing, and then school choices. Like it'll have on there the school choices that they've done, their proposed major, the career goals, their GPA, and their class rank, and then it's signed by the student and then you. And it looks really, really nice. So that might be something, if your school doesn't have it, just let me know. And then, but see, it looks really nice in there. And it's just a real quick overview for whoever is reviewing this scholarship, then they can see that basic information. And so that is under the student information. Hi, Aunt Joji. Hi, Shelly. And then an important aspect of any scholarship folder is the college essay. Now, most students do that in English class when they are junior or senior and they're working on that. But it's there's different ways you can look up online, Google like perspectives of what you want in that college essay. Usually something personal from their life, gives a nice self-reflection of maybe something they know they've grown from, a personal experience, could be from something exciting in their life, or it could be a tragedy, but that they've turned into, you know, lemon into lemonade, so that type of thing. But and then it has in there what their hopes and dreams are for going into college. So that's the college essay part. And then the next thing is the academic info. So in the academic info, a lot of colleges, or those who are reviewing scholarship applications, want to know what current classes your student is in. So you'll be putting in your fall semester courses and spring semester courses for their senior year, because typically you're applying for scholarships your senior year. And then on the bottom aspect of that, or on that academic info, it also has your test scores. So you'll have SAT scores on a section, and then ACT. It'll show the date that it was taken. Sometimes some students take the ACT or the SAT more than once, so you'll have the different dates of each of those that were taken. So that way they can even show improvement as well. And then the next aspect will be under the category of activities and awards. So under, and this is where, skipping. Go back to academic info. So the second page behind the current classes and test scores is the all-important transcript, okay? So you want their transcript, and I have that, and see if you notice it doesn't have the tab on it, because it's the second page in that section. And so in that section, where you have the transcript, is I have it highlighted where the GPA, so a lot of times they're going to look at it and they're going to go, oh, where's the GPA? And some schools not only have, they have an unweighted GPA and they have a weighted GPA, because if they have an AP course or an IB class, then those classes, the grades are weighted differently. So that is all under your academic info. So under the next section where it's activities and awards, you're going to want to, and this is where something that you want to keep track of. So by the time your student is in high school, whether you're in a district where it starts at 9th grade or it starts at 10th grade, and maybe even 9th grade if it's in junior high, you're still keeping track. You want to keep track of any school activities they're involved in. So with their sports they're involved in, or the clubs that they're involved in, you know, orchestra, Model UN, track and field, volleyball, whatnot, the IB program, AP programs, different programs that they're in. Keep track of those school activities and what grade they were in it, and what leadership position they held maybe in that club, or what other accomplishments they were able to achieve within that school activity. And then you need to be keeping track. It's really great to know that our children are well balanced, right? So maybe they're doing very well academically, but they're involved in their sports, but they're also involved in their community. So keep track of what they're doing in their community. So maybe they've helped at the downtown soup kitchen, right? Or the food bank, or the local pioneers home, or, you know, they've done an annual pancake feed, or anything they've done to help in the community since the time they were a freshman on up. And then you keep track of, or even if it's 8th grade, you know, maybe they did mission trips with their youth group. Keep track of that, because that's really, really important. And you want to write down the total number of hours that they volunteered. And, you know, honestly, my kids were doing different things, and we think about it, and I'm just telling you now, if you can think about it, write down these things, because it makes it so much easier when you're doing the scholarship folder. But we had to go back and kind of look at, oh, we did it this and this and this, and this is how long we were there, and so we were adding it up later. But it can be done. So if you don't do it till later, then that's fine. It works out. But it's nice to have that also in its own sheet protector, and then they can just, because they want to know, they're going to be looking at it going, oh, let's see how well balanced this student is. And it's nice for them to be able to just look at it and see that the student was out in the community. So, hi Dean, hi Debbie, hi Marla. Okay, I'm going to see Marla soon in a month. And the next page I have on there, and this is still under activities and awards. So this is continuing on with some activities. And so work experience is really so great to put on there. Now, I have to be honest, like my children, I have said their school is their full-time job, right? And so you know, we didn't necessarily, they didn't do it like what I did. I grew up, and I remember I did birthday parties at McDonald's, and I was a gymnastics coach. So I was working at a business and making money and that kind of stuff. So mostly what my kids have done has been, you know, like they do lawn care in the neighborhood or whatnot, or babysitting. But I know my daughters have also been volleyball referees. Maybe they've done doghouse watching, but you know, you put that all down, because that also shows an aspect of responsibility that your student has taken on. And they want to see, it's another aspect of them balancing, because really, what I like to see too is that shows a reflection of time management that our students are learning in this whole process. So make sure you put down that work experience. That's really, really good. And then under recognition and awards, that's another category. So you want to list, excuse me, on that, special awards and prizes that they've been awarded. So maybe they've done sports, right? And they've earned a varsity letter. You want to make sure you put that down. Or maybe they've been on the honor roll, or they've been inducted into the honor society. So you put all that down. And then, or maybe like my girls, they've done some pageants, and then they've earned different awards at the pageants. So just any type of award that they've been giving, MVP or whatever. So make sure you put that down. Those are all really good to put under the awards and recognition. So another thing we did too was Office Depot, or wherever you're copying these, is going to love you. But we've all been keeping those awards and certificates that our children get, right? So every time they get an award certificate, and we've had it in the frame, but I've made photocopies of them, and we put them in here so they can see, and then they are all in their own plastic sheet, okay? So, you know, you think about it, and it looks really nice. So like when they're looking through it, they're seeing all these different things, and they can see, you know, consistency and how the child has done. And those are just really nice to be able to see those. So any award your child has gotten, save those from freshman year on. I have a little thing in my office that where I just put the kids' awards. I quickly put it there and I save it, and they kind of have a folder, and I know I'm going to use it for the scholarship folder. So it's really, really great. And then I also made photocopies of the ribbons they got too for dance. So that's nice to put under those achievements that they've gotten. And then something that's really important that your student hopefully has been doing is establishing relationships with teachers that they work with, and also those in the community that they work with. So because that's when it comes time for them to get letters of recommendation. And it's so great for them to be able to, you know, I know they have to allow themselves to be vulnerable to go out and ask for this letter of recommendation. And but it's good experience because when they get into college and they're applying for graduate school, they need to have had a relationship established with a professor or somebody else in the community or in the profession they want to go in, and they're going to have to ask them for a letter then anyway. So you might as well get them doing it in high school. So your next section is recommendations. And typically, most scholarships ask you for 3 letters of recommendation. They want 2 from a teacher that has worked, 2 different teachers, and they want 1 from somebody in the community. Now, recently, Lauren applied for a scholarship where they also wanted 1 from the counselor. So that was a 4th. And we had to go back and ask for that. But typically, you're asking for these your senior year, probably, right around, you can ask for it in the first quarter. Teachers really want a lot more time. So I would make sure you're asking by mid-semester. So it gives them a heads up, because scholarship applications are typically due starting right after the new year. But right now is when it's really hot and heavy. Like April is when a lot of them are due. So you'll already have your letters of recommendation. And what we did is on that first page where it says the recommendations and it's in this sleeve, we listed the letters of recommendation, who the person was and how they knew, the child, the student. So like, for instance, Lauren has one from a lady at church. We have her name, and this is church mentor, known personally for 18 years. Another one's a teacher, and it says IB History of the Americas, and we have 11th grade in there, so they know. And then the other one is another teacher who she had for not only 11th grade, but 12th grade too, for something. So you write that down, and it makes it very clear. And then their letters of recommendation are all inside sleeves as well. This is like for the main folder. Now, I'll show you what I've done for the other folder that I have. And then the next section is financial info. And the financial info, basically it's showing the budget for 1 year for each of the universities or colleges or, wherever your child is applying for help, whether it's a vocational program or whatnot. So this is where you're going to be putting in, and this is a common template that you can find. You can Google it. If you need help with that, let me know. So here's where Lauren has put down 4 colleges, and we put down, all these different costs that it's going to take to attend, right? So your tuition and fees, your rooms/rent fee, this is for 1 year, your board/food, your books and supplies, transportation, and miscellaneous. And then all that adds up into a total attendance cost, right? So that goes across the board so you can see what they're going to need. And then another section is under the budget is resources. What are their summer savings? What's the other savings? For like example up here, did they save their PFD, which is our permanent fund dividend? Another is parents. What can they put in? And then you have the amount for total resources. And then the next section would be student need. And this is where you're going to use those totals from above, right? So you're going to take total attendance cost minus total resources, and that's what the student's going to need for that school. That's what it's going to equal. So, and that gives a good, it's just and college costs so much. So really apply for all of these, any scholarships you can see that you can apply for, just apply. And then we have the next section is school acceptances. So we have where Lauren applied to 4 schools and got into all 4. So we just have those letters saying that she was accepted. So they know that she's just not saying, oh, these are the 4 schools of their budget. She's saying, here, I did apply. This was going to cost to go there. So you have that. And then an appreciation statement is really, really nice. And that's at the end of the folder. And it's just signed by the student. It'd be the last thing. And it's under, it is tabbed. I do have the tab on there, right? And then, so a sample would be this. Thank you for taking time to read my scholarship portfolio. I sincerely appreciate any aid you can provide to help me achieve my goals for the future, which will enable me to overcome some financial obstacles that I may come face to face with. Every little bit counts, right? So you kind of word it with your own authentic voice, how your student would do it. She wrote that. I did not, and she signed it. I just helped guide her through this process, and then so that looks like that. And so this is like our base one that we go with. And so what we did, here's some samples of what we had left with Paul's, is like, then you would take everything that's in it, and so you have some extra ones that are, you can get these little folders like Office Depot, and they're the 3-ring binders. And we took everything that we had in his scholarship folder and we just photocopied it, right? And then hole punched it, and then it's all in here ready to go. Now this does not have the tabs. It just doesn't. But it's ready to go. And some applications will say, will have, you already have this in a template format. So for instance, Lauren just put an application in for another place, and they have one they want you to fill out. But since she'd already had a lot of this information on a set, file that we'd already saved, we just put see attached under certain topics, see attached. So then we put that right behind it, right, the page where it was requesting, and then went on to the next page. So those are my tips for sending this, for having that ready, and just start saving all those all their awards now. Keep track of their hours. Just get applying. You'd be surprised how many kids just don't apply because they're not ready, and they're not, they don't have this information ready to send out. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this is helpful. We have been through this completely twice, almost 3 times now, and I feel ready for the next 2 because we have 2 more coming along. So anyways, that's it for Tammy's Take today. It was really a lot of information, I know, but I really think it's important that we can get over this hump of how do we do a scholarship folder. Just follow these techniques. Let me know if you have any questions, though. Have those little dividers in between with the index, what it is, so it's really easy to go to, and it looks really nice. Has all the names on it. So God bless. Hope you go out and be the good in the world, and I will see you all next week on Tammy's Take. All right. Good night.